YouTube. There you go. Hi, Queen Bee! Hello, hello! Ikaw ay ang friends natin from, saan ba yung connection natin? With Mother Armina. No? Amina. Yes. Thanks for coming. Yes. I'm gonna start my talk show right now. I've been out for a while. So si Mother B ay medyo na-busy. Easy as a bee. Ayusin mo natin yung microphone natin. Ano nangyayari sa microphone? Ayan. Nakaka-distract sa point of kailangan ganon. Tama ba yun? Mother B, ano nangyayari sa naayos ko yung microphone ko. Kasi nakakasagabal. Tingnan ko nga kung maganda ba yung reception ng voice. Hindi nga, teka, audio. Default audio. Okay naman. Maganda naman yung feedback. Right? Yan. Taasan natin ng konti. Taasan ng konti, Mother B. Maganda yung ano. Parang baliktad yata. Hindi dapat may filter, di ba? May baliktad yata. Yan. Mic test. Mic si test. Okay, welcome to the Mother B Show. Ayan ka na naman, Mother B. Kaumpisa mo pala. Live ka na, men. Live. Hi, welcome to the Mother B Show. It's been a wild crocodile, yes. And I've been out and about, yes. So thank you for viewing the Mother B Show via our reels, no? So Mother B was on a short weekend trip last time in the panhandle of Texas. By the way, Mother B is broadcasting in South Texas, in the coastal bend of South Texas. Good morning. Today is July 20. Yes, time check. It's 11:18. July 20, and it's a Thursday. So today is Boost Your Mental Health Thursday. That is our episode. That's our weekly episode because, every day of the week between Monday to Friday and, of course, Saturday and Sunday, we do have our special flavor. We have our episode of the day. So from the episode of the day, episode of the week, then we have our talk of the day. Yes. So our episode. Hi, Big Boss Truckers. Hello. Welcome to the Mother B Show. Yes. So by the way, this show is multilingual. I speak English, Filipino, Cebuano, our local dialect in the Philippines. And sometimes I give my Chinese friends, ni hao, peng yao. Ni hao to our friends, ni hao, peng yao. Wo chong wen, yi tian tian. My Chinese is only very little, but they say it's okay naman ang accent. And to our Spanish-speaking friends, hola, mi amigo, mi amiga. Buenos dias. Yes, thank you for coming to the Mother B Show. Yes, our friends in Thailand, sawadikay. Yeah. Sa mga Bisaya diha, sa tibok kalibutan, mayong udto, mayong buntag kaninyong tanan. 40 minutos na lang para magpaniudto na. Dire sa Amerika. But in the Philippines, mabuhay po tayo sa Philippines, and time check, it's already July 21 back there. We are 12 hours behind, and to our viewers from Australia, it's also madaling araw na, mem. 92, 58, 92, 95, 58, 8765. Thank you for sending the heart. User 291, JJ Ames. Thank you for watching the Mother B Show. If this is your first time to be in my show, please strike a pose. Press the screen, tap your screen, share the live, because this is a very good talk today about Throwback Thursday. We have so many adjectives for Thursday. It's like a 4-in-1 show because I haven't done my show from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday today because I was on vacation. After vacation, papaliwanag lang. I have to rest and I still have to do my motherhood function. Remember, the Mother Blagader show is a story about motherhood, finding meaning to life, and at the same time promoting positivity and good vibes. Yes. So before we proceed, yes, we would like to see our viewers in Facebook and in YouTube as well. Thank you so much for watching the Mother B show. And I have to adjust the setting again from private viewing, from friends only to the world. Bakit mo to sa paging Facebook? Why are you setting my live to only friends? Ang gusto ko kasi yung settle niya is settings niya would be public, right? So it's a mano-mano. It's a yeah. So it's a this is a self do-it-yourself talk show. Okay, why do I do what I do? Of course, this is my way of talking to myself as well as my therapy for the mental health advocacy. Right? If you are a full-time mom and a devoted wife, and you're staying at home, what do? Dismiss. So this is a productive way to make use of your time and at the same time share positivity and good vibes to everyone. And I am of course inviting everyone, our viewers, live streaming viewers, if ever, please subscribe and like our YouTube channel, because if you wanted to review the videos of the Mother B show, then you can find us there and it's a curated video. By the way, disclaimer. Our show is a long talk show. So if I were you prepare your baon, you prepare your meals. If you are, prepping lunch, don't just watch me prepare lunch. Okay, just listen to the voice. You can just listen to the voice while you're doing something. You don't need to watch me. But I hope that you will, I hope that you will tap the screen, share the live, because, somebody might be interested in listening and watching Mother B. But we're good. Don't worry about it. Like, if ever you would like to support the Mother B show in Facebook, you can send stars. In Bigo, you can, send some heart there or drop some virtual gifts. Same with TikTok. Because we are not just talking here and just wasting your time, but this is an advocacy show, okay? We are sharing about information on mental health, brain health, social health. There's such a thing as, you have to take care of your social life. For your sake, okay? For good vibes only. Yes, so it's not easy to be in the bad vibes mode, hello. Yes, so that's why I'm just doing this for the sake of my sanity. And also to say hi, hello to my friends who's watching, because I don't have the luxury of, spending time with them, and at the same time, spending too much time because I'm far away, number one. But this is the way for the Mother B to reach out at the same time. So, yeah. So, what is the Mother B show all about? Ano ba tong Mother B show na to? Ano ba to? Ano kaguluhan to? Mother B show. Where is my stinger? What?
The show is a fun and informative lifestyle program that promotes positivity and good vibes.
Positivity and good vibes, and thank you everyone for coming to the Mother B show. I really appreciate you. Our talk today is about how childhood trauma affects us as adults. By the way, disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just reading it from reliable sources. And just like you, like when we hear something like, hey, what's the buzz? right? So we have a new segment, although it's part of our talk. What's the buzz? Hi, visitor 6527. Welcome to the Mother B Show. Yes, yes, we are talking about mental health here, and one of the things that quite struck me the most is the concept of trauma. Okay, trauma. What is trauma? So that we have to talk about it. And I'm currently reading this book, The Myth of Normal. Hold on, I just have to mirror this so you can read it properly. So The Myth of Normal. Okay, let me mirror this show. Let me see. Flip, mirror video. So this is the book, The Myth of Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate, with his son Daniel Mate. So I'm currently reading this and trying to understand that about trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture. So it's kind of heavy when it comes to, when you talk about these issues. But here in the Mother B Show, we will try to what, Mother B? I would like it to be more understandable, like based on how I see it and how I understand it, and share it to you. Because yes, that's my advocacy as a mass communicator as well. It's not easy to digest and to analyze all this information coming from this book. Oh my gosh, the stuff is quite heavy if you're really not into it, not into the reading vibe. But yes, one of the feedbacks about this book is this is a thorough and inspiring work of the heart. This book urges us to question our assumptions and think deeply, ayan na naman yung think deeply, about who we are, and how we can live more fully and freely. Harnessing the power of the mind to bring healing and wholeness into our shared lives on earth. So it's still connected with our mental health advocacy. So trying to find resources, trying to be exposed to these resources that might make sense to our critical thinking. So aside from reading, we need to think about it. So if you want to think about the meaning of life, the essence of life, what's our connection on earth? Especially if we're confronted with a lot of toxicity in our environment, in our surroundings, in our culture in particular. Okay? This information is very helpful, and as much as I could, gusto kong ma-share sa madlang tips, especially to my friends and family members, people who are close to me. What's my thought on this? So why does my thought matters? Disclaimer, you don't need to listen, you don't need to believe what I'm saying. You have to think, you have to do your critical thinking. If you agree with what I'm saying, good. If you don't agree, that's fine. What's important is I'm gaining information, gaining understanding from this book, which is very, very helpful, especially if you've gone through a lot of pains in life. Pains. Sino ba namang hindi? Hello. Sino ba hindi dumaan ng mga kahirapan, paghihirap sa buhay? Tell me, sinong mga hindi dumaan? Ewan ko sa planeta sila nakatira. Like, hello, let's be realistic here. By the way, the tagline of this show is Be Real, Be You. We are promoting authenticity. Okay? We have to learn about self-identity. We have to learn about who we really are, not who do we think we are. Kasi who do you think you are? Ganun ba? Ay, ang tawag na ilusyonado. Pero pag realistic naman at the same time, but you still have your creative ways to imagine But not to the point you imagine mo yung imagination mo mag-control na sa'yo dahil iba na yung thinking mo. So as long as you are maximizing pleasure, minimizing pain, doing the most good and not doing the most bad, you're doing the most good, we're good, okay? That is our main objective here. Be real, be you. And because we need to maximize pleasure, minimize pain, and do the most good. Because if you just maximize pleasure and do and minimize pain, it's self-serving. You have to include do the most good and make use of the moment appropriately. Diba? Let's add to that. Do it the right way. Okay? Because some people are, maximizing pleasure for their own good, minimizing pain for their own good, but not for the goodness of humanity. Okay. Speaking of pleasure, no, even if we talk about the environment right now, it's really a challenge here in the USA. By the way, just to update you, there are a lot of extreme weather conditions in the different parts of the US. That is why we have this new segment called The Buzz. We have this, So today is Boost Your Mental Health Thursday, but we have this special segment, The Buzz, because I have observed in this show, because it's long, so there's a lot of things to adjust, to improve on, because this is a do-it-yourself show. Why not? But there's always constant learning here, constant finding ways on how to improve this content. Because I do believe that it's also impacting other people, not just here in the USA, but in the Philippines, in Australia, in the Middle East, because this show is dedicated to our overseas Filipino workers and the overseas migrant workers, the migrant Filipinos all over the globe. Okay? Because our family is also transplanted, naibot from the Philippines to the US of A. Okay? So the heart of the Mother B Show, aside from promoting positivity and good vibes, is on the social side, we are advocating intercultural learning and understanding the plight of the Filipino migrants all over the globe. So let's connect the dots. Okay? I know it's kind of heavy. This show, a long talk show, by the way, so prepare. Second is promoting positivity and good vibes. Number 3, it's multilingual. Number 4, the feature of this show is focus on mental health, body and mind wellness, and social wellness. And also we talk about building wealth, economic wellness. Because if you don't have the money, it's very stressful. Right? It promotes to a big chunk of stress in our life if you don't have the resources to sustain your day-to-day living. And of course, spiritual side. On the spiritual side, we also have spiritual wellness every Tuesday. And yes, we are also in the process of promoting patriotism and love of country. Makabayan, makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao. Did you remember your araling panlipunan? Ano ba yun? Social studies, no? Yung ating 4 na M. Makabayan, makadiyos, makabayan, makatao, makakalikasan. It's connected, it's parallel, right? So, yes. So, aside from boosting our mental health, we need to also apply. If we apply what we have learned, apply what we have accumulated, all the good stuff, no? According to the Bible, Philippians 4 verse 8, whatever is good, whatever is noble, you think about such things, and when you think about such things, then you do it. Don't just think about it. You have to act on it, right? Son Sonidero, hi, Maria Chua. Yes, so thank you again. So this show is a long talk show because we talk about a lot of stuff, but we focus more on the mental health topics on the second part. Huh? And so we have this first part, we have the bus. Okay? Balikan natin. Of the Marites version of Mother B. Right? So we can talk about issues aside from mental health. For example, in the environment, the weather, OMG, here in Texas, the weather is mag-average siya ng 100 to 110 heat index.
A major.
Ay! When it comes to that, pag umabot na ng 100 plus yan, para ka ng kinumbulsyon. Equivalent to may lagnat ka na. And if you compare that to the heat, for example, if you put something on the oven, if you want to bake something, that's how hot you can really touch and feel the heat. The heat is on. Oh, caught up in the action. I'm looking up for you. The heat is on. Yes, super init. That's why I also have my little electric fan here. Woo! Hindi kaya ng aircon kahit sabihin natin, we're also helping the grid here because ang Texas kasi may sariling grid. Mahirap nang ma-overload, ma'am. Mahirap ma-overload ang mga aircon dito kasi pag walang aircon dito, good luck sa imo, girl, kaya para ka nasa oven. And then when you go out, of course, hindi pwedeng hindi ka mag-out, no? May I go out sa bahay mo? Tapos sasalubungin ka na para kang papasok ka sa malaking oven. Papasok ka sa isang establishment and it's cold because nakatodo ang aircon. OMG, you could just imagine ang feeling mo pa iba-iba ang temperatura. Ay, nakakalagnat yan. So it's draining, especially if you work outside. That's why very, very critical dito, very crucial dito yung mga safety officers because they have to monitor the condition of the workers, especially if they work outside. Hindi ka pwedeng expose for how many hours, otherwise baka mag-convulsion ka diha, men. Pupunta ka sa beach, magsa-sunbathing, hindi pwede, para kang jerky paggawas. Super dehydrated na ang beauty mo, hindi ka pwedeng lumabas sa Texas ng matagal kasi baka parang nasa loob ng malaking dehydrator. You have to drink water every 30 minutes. So that's one of the buzz today. That's one of the talk. Also, of course, there's a lot of things going on around us, especially the weather, extreme weather condition, and paparating na ang Saharan dust. Don't you know about the Saharan dust? So yung dust sa Sahara from Africa, tumatawid yan, pupunta yan sa US every year. The Saharan dust literally is blown by the wind. Darating yan dito, especially sa South America, southern part of the US, and hindi exempted ang Texas. So mga southern states, Texas, Louisiana, where at pa, marami, even Mexico, walang ligtas. Yung Saharan dust, that's why yesterday, I feel that my eyes is kind of itchy, irritated, at parang bloated. Wala na si Mother B of goldfish eventually. No? It's because of the Saharan dust or mga pollens and everything. Pollens, darating dito yung mga pollens. Mag-pollen season pag August to September. But for the Saharan dust, because I can clearly remember what happened to me when we first arrived in the USA back in August 2017. So God willing, magsa 6 years na kami rito sa US. OMG, sinalubong ko yung Saharan dust. Bloated, murag yung, ako hindi man ako allergy ho na tao, pero murag allergy ko, pila ka days, naabdan pa ko sa Harvey, katong Hurricane Harvey, na hindi na ako halos kakita. because of the Saharan dust. So right now, well, I have a very good solution to that problem because I'm also dealing equipment for indoor pollution. So I have this machine, Ritello. No? That's why dealers in Mother B dito sa Coastal Bend flagging. It's a medical equipment. It's an air filtration machine. At the same time, it helps in cleaning up the dirt, the dust, and the indoor pollution. Kasi, don't you know na 5 times ang pollution, air pollution sa bahay compared outside? Mas marami pang alikabok sa loob ng bahay mo, mem, kesa sa garden mo, hoy. Especially if you live in this area, maraming mga construction, maraming mga nangyayaring kaganapan dito, building roads, constructing roads, marami, and all the dust are flying around, plus the Saharan dust. Kailangan mo talaga ng reinforcement, no? So, for those who are in the Coastal Bend, Mother B is available for a product demonstration. Meron ka pang libreng mini air purifier. With aromatherapy, if you happen to sign up in our Mother B's demonstration to get a free air purifier. Plugging. Hindi ko pa nagagawa yung graphics, pero sige lang. Total show ko naman to. Di ako mag-advertise. Shout out to Annalyn Sisom. Sorry, hindi ko pa natatapos yung 1521 natin na press release. Press release, matagal nang nangyari, press release. Article, because super busy talaga. I've been in Amarillo. And I've been to West Texas A&M for my son's band camp. Oh my God, super busy ang weekend ng family. It's a long drive. You know that in my fields. More than 9 hours. 3 days of road travel. Plus the heat. The heat is on. But wala po akong reklamo. I'm grateful. Hindi po ako nagpo-complain. I'm grateful. It's just that it's a lot of work to do. And it's a lot of adjustment, especially when you do road trip, So, speaking of boosting your mental health, make sure if you do a road trip or you're on vacation, if you're going to a vacation, please make sure that your body is prepared. Okay, baka mamaya madoble tuloy yung stress mo dahil hindi ka prepared yung katawan mo. So if you don't think of traveling because you don't feel good, why don't do it? So yeah, that's why we need to boost our mental health because sometimes pati yung stress ng travel nakaka-apekto sa katawan natin yan, men. Plus, with matching trauma, ang mga cases like, well, if you happen to be in a flight and if you happen to be in the airport, pa-delay yung flight mo, oh my gosh, you could just imagine the trauma na nangyayari, no? Buti kung ikaw lang, di ba? A-attend ka ng kasal, tapos hindi ka you cannot, hi, Juju won it. Thank you for coming to the Mother B Show. So by the way, if you'll notice, I'll keep on greeting our viewers. Pablo, hello Pablo, Marianela. We're shout-outing. The shout-out continues here. This is a shout-out party. This is not the type of show na very structured that you cannot do shout-out in the middle of your talk. I can shout out you guys. Douglas, hi. And all of the people who's watching the Mother B Show because I'm grateful you're spending time with me. Right? It's not easy to watch this space. To listen to me, no? If it doesn't make sense. Right? By the way, shout out to Sir Ian Paler, Mark Yeso. Look, I made his business card because that is also my side hustle. If you want a business card, a professionally done business card, so I do graphic designs plus printing business cards is my business here in the Coastal Bend. So shout out to Sir Ian Paler, Sir Ian Mark P. Elieso of Premier Financial Alliance. So makikita-kits kami later to get his business card. And thank you, shout out also to Regina and George of Ritello. So hope to see you soon in Hollywood. Mother B will be flying to California next week, so abangan. Yeah, ang gig ni Mother B from North Carolina to Los Angeles, California. Hindi pala, Burbank pala yun. Okay. So anyway, so there's a lot of things to do, so many things to do, but we just have to take it one day at a time. Yes, ano pa yung mga dabas natin ngayon nakita ko sa news? Well, still travel because it's summer vacation. So there's a lot of hacks, there's a lot of talks about, how to save, how to be smarter, how to be a smart traveler, because Thursday is also about Travel Thursday here in the Mother B Show. So I got reels. By the way, thank you so much to our team Mother B, who's doing a lot of hard work, who's working hard to edit the show, edit our previous shows, and convert it into reels and YouTube shorts. Okay? Thank you, Valerie. Hi, Valerie. Welcome to the Mother B Show. So yes, so we have Team Mother B based in the Philippines. And from 2, they become 3. Tatlo na yung natin. Shout out to Kuya Dave, Jonathan Dave Manlangit of Davao City. As part of Team Mother B, welcome. Our virtual assistants and virtual sharers of the Mother B Show. So please help us. Help support the Mother B Show. Hello, because whenever you support the Mother B Show, whenever you watch, you share, you like it on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, you're helping somebody earn. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm earning a lot from this. Honestly, just enough for me to pay for my subscription in YouTube and in my streaming app. I'm the one paying for my streaming app to do this show. Hello. Again, it's a do-it-yourself, but I'm gonna be opening it to sponsors because this is a audience-supported show. So we will be doing crowdsourcing. We need funds. We need funds to sustain the show. I've been sustaining this for the past year, but I need your help, guys, because we have people who's on board and who's working with the Mother B Show. They're not volunteers, They're paid to do this because we're giving them a job. Kahit paunti-unti, at least nakakatulong sa kanilang lifestyle, no? So one is a graduate of education, and she's now taking up her board review, and thankful that the Mother B Show is also instrumental in her board exam review. That's Noreen, and also Jonathan is a youth missionary with his family in Davao. And hopefully it's also helping him. And thank God it's helping him in his mission. So, and then another one, we have a fresh graduate then who we are helping somehow. Nakakatulong na konti ang Mother B Show kahit paano nasustain niya yung mga pamasahe. Right? So kahit paano unti-unti nakakatulong ang Mother B Show sa ating community, especially the people that, are very talented and worthy of being helped, no? Because this show is startup as well. So what's important is we do the most good in our own little way. By the way, time check, it's 30 minutes and 27 seconds again. So we are approaching we are actually talking about the buzz. Aside sa sidetrack natin yung Mother B Show. By the way, if you wanna advertise in the Mother B Show, okay, if you wanna promote something, if you have shout outs, that's free. If you have events, invite me. And then if you want to advertise your products here in the Mother B Show, if you want us to promote it so that we could support the show, we are open to advertisers, but we filter, we screen our advertisers in a way yung mga supporters natin na maganda rin yung advocacy. So we don't advertise cigarettes, we don't advertise things that are contrary to our advocacy. We only promote businesses that is aligned with the Mother B's advocacy, such as boosting our mental health, our brain health, social health, spiritual health. Whatever is good, whatever is lovely, we'll do that. Okay. So also we would like also to promote our tourism, local tourism, Philippine tourism. okay, our regional tourism in the Philippines. So if you happen to own an establishment, tourism establishment, and if you want Mother B to shout you out, just let me know. And let you wanted to showcase your destination. I would be glad to talk about it here in the show. Meron lang tayong konting mga terms and conditions. Para naman magpatuloy ang ating programa. Right? So, if wala tayong supporter, paano tayo masusustain? Right? So, we have to boost it. And by the way, ang akin namang what we can assure you is this show is promoting quality content. Huh? This show is informative, entertaining, I hope. And we're here to give you good vibes. No? We don't entertain negativity here, that's for sure. We all have lots of negativity in our life, so I don't want this space to be invaded. The bus, by the way, nakita ko yung trend ngayon sa mga entertainers, both international and local. And grabe ang mga grabe talaga ang mga, what you call this one, there's a trend right now, the entitlement trend. The sense of entitlement, like if you go to a concert, na-expected mo na the artista or the performer will do what you want to do. No! You pay. Tama naman yung mga performers. You paid for the performance. You paid for the artistry. You're not buying them. So please, message natin sa mga concert growers, mga viewers, and all the people involved in appreciating the art, especially in film, in live performances. Please naman, let us respect our entertainers, our artists. Don't throw stuff on them. Imagine, babatuhin mo sa mukha ng cellphone yung nagpe-perform. That's rude. That's bad. Don't do that. Okay? And kung hindi ka na selfiehan, tumanggi, masama ang loob mo. You have to be empathic. You have to understand what they're going through. And besides, you have to follow protocol. May protocol sa concert. Hindi ka lang basta-basta magbabat in, magbabarge in dyan, mag-i-stalk, because these are professionals. They are entertainers. They're not pets. Even in the zoo, diba, do not feed the animals. Di ko mo nagbayad ka ng entrance fee, pwede mo nang gawin ang gusto mo doon. Okay? Hindi naman, napapaliwanag lang. I don't want to name names, but I've seen local artists, foreign artists who were really treated badly by, I'm not pro or against them, but I'm just after what is right, okay? What is appropriate? What is decent? If you're gonna watch a show, if you're gonna attend an event, make sure you be respectful enough so that you won't find trouble. Okay, manage expectations. Not because that you bought all the merch, you are there, you pay the VIP tickets, that you want to do what you want to do there. No! Follow instructions. Otherwise, you will hear the magic word, guard! Guard! Security! Behave. Behave lang yun. And don't hurt the artist by throwing some stuff in them, okay? On them, huh? What did your mama tell you? Okay, time check. It's 39 minutes and 23 seconds that we're broadcasting here in the Mother B Show. So before anything else, for a break, let's introduce what the show is all about. the Mother B Show. Time check. It's 40 minutes and we are already broadcasting for 40 minutes and 54 seconds. By the way, it's shout out time. Shout out time! What's our shout out?
I wanna shout out. Yeah, I just want the world to know I'm gonna.
Hey, shout out by the way. May I kwento yesterday, shout out to our friends from, where am I? Nawala yun. Chris TV. There you go. Chris 6 News, okay? Kasi nawala sa background. Okay, this is the merch, Chris, from Chris TV News. Okay? So, yes. I was there yesterday at the American Bank Center. Shout out to Sir Ralph Tobias of Chris TV News here in the coastal bend of Corpus Christi, Texas. So, we did some short chats and thank you so much. At ito yung aming kaganapan yesterday when Mother B is doing Marites as a citizen journalist. Yeah, so you can be a citizen journ, right? If you wanted to. And that is why, but puro naman natin, pareha naman ito. Okay, so thank you. Shout out sa ating mga friends from Chris TV News here and friends from Bombo Radio Philippines, Bombo Radio Vegan, Bombo Radio Naga, and Bombo Radio La Union. Okay, sa ating mga media friends. Okay, hindi ito komedya. Totoo yan. So, Mother B is a volunteer international correspondent for news dito sa Bombo Radio Philippines. And now, hopefully, fingers crossed, no? With our friends from Chris TV News and Chris TV family. Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ralph, for, giving me some insights and inputs about the channel. I love it because I watch the news every morning, especially the weather. Okay, congrats to the new staff and the team. So, so this is the media side of the Mother B Show as citizen journalism. Citizen journalist. Kaya nga nag-flourish nga itong mga content creators, mga live streamers. Actually, ang brand nila, Citizen Journ. Kaya lang, citizen journalist, but yung iba kasi, kailangan kasi yung fundamentals nila. Hindi ka basta-basta magre-report, hindi ka nagre-research, hindi ka nagre-verify ng mga information mo, men. By the way, time check, it's already 12 noon here in the US of A. Good noon, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Mother B Show. It's 12 o'clock. And then it's 1 o'clock in the Philippines. 43 minutes and 55 seconds na po tayo nagbo-broadcast. After that, we will proceed to our short talk about how childhood trauma affects us as adults. So, we already have talked about trauma a few days ago. We will continue to talk about it. And because Mother B is interested about this one. The Myth of Normal. This is the book, no? The Myth of Normal. Yes, this is the book of Dr. Gabon natin. And shout out to our collaborators, media collaborators as well. Sila Glenn of North Carolina, of Glenboy Photography, o Sir Dong sa saka ito iyang iyang advocacy, iyang group, no? Wait, I'll check. Kasi he's got his YouTube channel as well. Okay. PM, what do you call this advocacy group? He's into this group wherein ina-advocate nila yung mga citizen journalism. It's called the, what you call this group nila, ha? Mahaba kasi yung kanya message dito. Yes, Sir Dong is from Phoenix, Arizona, right? So, he's doing this YouTube channel niya. What you call this? Sorry. Kalimutan ko ano yung group niya. Profile Overseas Diaries, okay? That's his YouTube channel, Profile Overseas Diaries. I forgot the group. Yung kanilang grupo. Philippine, he is part of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce of Arizona. Why social? So he's from Phoenix, Arizona. Hopefully we'll be collaborating and we will be voting in next week in California, Burbank, California. Ilang minutes na lang, Hollywood naman. Siguro pupunta si Mother B sa strike ng mga artista at mga writers din doon. Pakikimarites ako doon. Excited na si Mother B. God willing. Okay, let's see. Let's see yung kanyang Overseas Diaries. Overseas. Para alam ko yung group na, kanyang grupo, Overseas Diaries in YouTube. I forgot the term. Profile Overseas Diaries. Okay, that is from ano nga ba yung group nila? Forgot. Sorry. Mahaba-haba kasi. So, let me see. Ang bagal pa naman ang aking room. Okay, so Profile Overseas Diaries is ano yung kanyang. So, Profile Overseas Diaries is created and produced by People's Media Advocacy Asia, PMAA, USA. USA Bureau. Okay, again, it's People's Media Advocacy Asia, USA Bureau, under the direct guidance of Dr. Daniel Rudin, founder of PMAA CPM in Manila in 2015. Okay? So this Profile Overseas Diaries is a monthly documentary. So I'll show you para you know what I'm talking about. Kasi yung mga audience natin sa Pilipinas tulog na at saka sa Australia. Anyway, if you want to watch the show, watch nyo na lang ang review and replay. So I'll show you this YouTube channel, okay? So this is called the Profile Overseas Diary. So it's a profiler. It features interesting Filipino personalities, stories here in the USA. So it's a monthly documentary published on social media accounts, and its purpose is to share the many inspiring stories of our fellow Filipino Americans who have been away from their home country for many years. Okay, so meron na silang 1.44k subscribers. So, ano na to? Okay, very nice. So, I like this. I'm gonna do some comments as well. So, let's support Filipino-American advocacies here. So, this is produced by, what group? The People's Media Advocacy Asia, USA Bureau. Okay? So, founded by Dr. Daniel Rudin. Okay? Of course, si Sir Dong, shout out to Sir Dong, siya yung the man behind this production. And hope to see you in person next week, God willing. Okay? So, yes, that is part of our shout out as well. And to all our birthday celebrants, okay, let's see who's our birthday celebrants. Sino ba yung mga happy birthday? Kasi marami akong nakikita na may nagbe-birthday. Hindi ko lang matandaan silang lahat. Okay, we have, let's see who's our birthday celebrants. Okay, let's see. From Facebook. Okay. Bagal kasi yung ating Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, we have Ma'am Emiliana Lozano. Hello, Father Saturninus University. Shout out and happy birthday to you. Before anything else, let's play the happy birthday song to our birthday celebrants, especially si Ma'am Dr. Emiliano Lozano. Happy birthday to you. Let's celebrate. Where's my happy birthday still? Music. Bilis naman ang pangyayari. Ulat, may inom pa nga ako ng tubig eh. Again. Tapos na. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Ba't nawala yung live ko? Naputol? Ano ba yan? Naputol? Dali. Live tayo ulit. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Thank you and happy birthday to Madam Emiliana Luzano. Marami pong salamat for your support. Ako po ay nasa FSUU. Of course, our friend, Ma'am Leonela Datoy Villanueva, formerly from the City Hall of Butuan City. Happy birthday. Okay, who's this? Sino pa ba? Gino Peron, happy birthday of Pennsylvania, who's also the husbandry of Medusa Electrica. Happy birthday. Joy Ann B. Humawan, happy birthday. Susan Resendes, my former workmate from Venice. Yes. We have, who else? Mga friendship natin. Sino pa? Jason, happy birthday. Jason Hill, happy birthday. Yes. And we have Mary Globian Capillian, BFF, July 19, 1974. Sinabi talaga edad. Shiera, upcoming birthday, Shiera. Happy birthday in advance. And who else? Maria Paf, advance happy birthday. And all our birthday celebrants, si Reverend Tindoy, advance happy birthday. Advance ko na kasi baka may hindi ko mag-greet. Right? But then again, happy birthday to our celebrants. Marami pong salamat. And I'm so glad that we met somehow in our lives. Shout out to Tita Rose Hansen. Hello, Tita Rose of Copenhagen, Denmark. Thank you for watching. I hope to visit you and I hope you visit Texas as well, right? So yes, time check, it's 12:09 here. Noon time na po tayo dito sa Mother B Show in the coastal bend of South Texas. Big Mama, hello. Thank you for watching. And if you happen to see this first time here at the Mother B Show, don't forget to, press the screen, touch the screen, share the live. To our viewers in Facebook, our likers, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, Tita Rose Hansen. You are very instrumental in Mother B's life. I can still clearly remember na as young as like 5 years old or 4 or 5 years old, Tita, no? Talagang sinasama mo na si Mother B sa mga trips to Baguio and all these places. Kaya si Mother B, lakwachera. Travel is life. And who's my teacher sa travel? Tita Rosario Hansen of Copenhagen, Denmark. Bucket list ni Mother B ang pumunta ng Copenhagen next year. Sana po lumabas na yung peppers. Para makapagbiyahe na, makalabas na ng USA at makapagbiyahe na sa Europa. So yes, I'm so excited to go to the Europe. To go to the European Union. By the way, shout out Kiran and Kelly. Yes, I know that you are in Scotland and soon you're going to be in Ireland. Okay. Jelly, how I wish us there. Okay, I saw your pictures in Facebook. Miss you guys. Also, shout out kay Inday Liklik. Manay Liklik and Inday Liklik. Manay Liklik is in the Philippines. Inday Liklik is in Tennessee. Shout out sa mga friendship natin, sa mga suki ng The Mother B Show. Thank you for watching. If you're gonna watch the show, thank you. If you forgot, that's okay. Okay, we are about to talk about. What's our talk today, Mother B? What is our talk today? Talk today is how childhood trauma affects us as adults. Okay? So, Mother B, why do we need to talk about trauma? I thought you don't like to talk about negativity. We have to address the elephant in the room. Like tayo kasi sa Pilipino, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my observation. Ang kultura kasi natin sa ating bansa, sa ating pagka-Pilipino, ayaw natin yung napapahiya tayo. We save face. Particularly Asians actually, our culture is parang ang kultura ng mga Asiano, lalo na mga Pilipino. na ano tayo, save face, yung iligtas natin yung sarili natin sa kahihiyan. Culture of Asians. Okay, lagay natin. Kasi iba't iba, lahat tayo may kultura, no? Okay, so ang kultura natin is particularly emphasizing on family values. Okay, so we are family centered and we like to support each other more often than we could. It's a symbol of their bond and love and care for each other. So, you know, we are a loving people. Okay, so yun. But we are known for yung ating hospitality, strong cultural values, and intelligent minds. Totoo ba, Mother D? Asian people daw, according to this article, Asian people are known all over the world for their strong cultural values and intelligent minds. Wow! I like that. So why are we... Hindi naman natin... Ano lang to, mga binabasa lang natin to, Culture of Asia according to Wikipedia. That encompasses the collective and diverse customs and tradition of art, architecture, music, literature, style, lifestyle, philosophy, politics, and religion that have been practiced and maintained by the numerous ethnic groups of the continent of Asia. Well, we have the biggest continent anyway, so ba't napunta tayo sa culture and geography? Layo mo na, Mother B! So, pag-usapan na lang muna natin na how childhood trauma affects us as adults. So, segue. Why do we need to talk about this? Because, from this book, no? From this book, The Myth of Normal, okay? This is a revolutionary book, sabi dito, by renowned physician Gabor Mate, eloquently dissects how in Western countries that pride themselves on their healthcare systems, chronic illnesses and general ill health are on the rise. So what is really normal when it comes to health? So still, it's about health. So, si Dr. Mate kasi over 4 decades, no, of practicing medicine and being exposed to the community, niya na-realize na yung sakit pala, illnesses, are not just, they did not pop up from nowhere. There's a cause. Usually, mga self-induced daw, ito daw yung produced dahil sa ating lifestyle. So, tingnan natin kasi malaki yung portion ng word trauma there. So, before anything else, what is trauma? Okay? That's the elephant in the room. Yan yung dapat nating i-address. So, trauma is an emotional response, okay? Emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. So immediately after the event, shock and denial or typical longer-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. That's according to American Psychological Association. So it's your response, your internal response, to what happened to you. The bad stuff that happened to you, whether it's pain caused by other people, pain caused by a certain situation or the environment. Like, may collective trauma, may pangmaramihan, may pang individual. I'm not undermining trauma. I'm not making it katatawanan here, by the way, disclaimer. But what's important for us to understand, that it's a wound. It hurts, okay? It hurts. It's pain. Okay? It's pain on the inside. It's mostly emotional and psychological. Okay? Yun ang trauma. But every time something similar happens, natitrigger ulit, nare-remember ng brain mo yung nangyayari, and then you manifest different symptoms, especially physical symptoms like, like headaches or nausea or flashbacks, no? So, naalala mo. So, nagkakaroon ng flashbacks. So, there's a lot of things going on the inside. But according to this trauma-informed care.gov, there are 3 main types of trauma daw. Acute, chronic, or complex. Acute, chronic, or complex. Acute trauma results from a single incident. Nangyari sa'yo, personal na nangyari sa'yo. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence and abuse, like battered wife o battered husband, So these are chronic, paulit-ulit, no? Paulit-ulit. Nakakasakit ka na ha, paulit-ulit na to. Yan. Complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events like war, natural disasters, often an invasive interpersonal nature. So, komplikado, it's more complicated. So what does trauma do to a person? What trauma does to a person? Trauma can make you more vulnerable to developing mental health problems. Okay? It can also directly cause post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. Some people misuse alcohol, drugs, or self-harm just to cope up with difficult memories and emotions. Okay? So, let me change the background music kasi parang trauma pinag-usapan at para tayo nagdi-disco. Para hindi appropriate yung music ko. Sandali, ikambyo ko muna ha. Sandali lang. Okay, let me see. Let's change this. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me see if there, mas appropriate, okay? So, trauma, somehow, no? When people who have trauma, sometimes they misuse substances like alcohol, drugs, or even do self-harm just to cope up with difficult memories, okay, and emotions. Depending on how you've been affected, trauma may cause difficulties in your daily life. So again, in short, when there's trauma, there's difficulty in life. Kana, dili na siya malalis, that can't be contested and argued because trauma is painful. Painful. It's hurt. It's painful. Much more if it's chronic, if it's everyday. Oh my gosh, you could just imagine if you're in a situation wherein you are in a narcissistic relationship, paulit-ulit ang pain, well, it causes emotional distress. Okay? So, you can be more vulnerable to developing mental health problems. So that's why we're talking about this here in the Mother B Show. Aside from boosting our mental health, we just have to understand that these are the things that we need to know on how to prevent pain. No? Diba? Minimize pain, maximize pleasure. And trauma is pain. It hurts and it will give you a difficult situation in life, whether you like it or not. Okay? In short, it causes difficulties in life. Makalisod-lisod. Para sa Bisaya, para masabta na to, kanang trauma, day. Trauma ba? Trauma. Kanang trauma, sakit na. Sakit sa atong buot, sakit sa atong panghuna-huna. Of course, may medical term na trauma, kanang nadunggaban, ang tawag nila na trauma kay nasaksak man. Na ay foreign object na nasulod sa imong lawas, trauma na, trauma. Medical term sila pag na certain foreign body na isod, mo rin nadunggaban, mo na traumatic situation na siya. Gawas pa sa sitwasyon na it's painful. Oh my gosh, painful. What if breakups? Broken relationship, 'di ba? Failure of marriage, that's too painful. Okay? Community guidelines, termination will ensue if user does not end live video within 5 minutes. Really? Bakit? Nag-ano na ba ako? Ano na ba ako? Okay, ulit. So again, live ulit. Okay. Live ulit, walang problema, live ulit. Kuratan naman lang ta sa Kuratan naman lang ta sa kanilang notification. Okay, again, welcome to the Mother B Show. Yes, welcome to our live show in Bigo Live and TikTok. We are notifying that your viewers are live. Thank you. Okay. So, yes. So, saan na nga ba tayo? Nagulat naman ako sa feedback ni TikTok. problem. Anyway, so yes, it's painful. So according to Psychology Today, also trauma is a person's emotional response nga to dissect distressing experience, and people can go through life without encountering some kind of trauma. So not all people experience trauma. Okay? So but again, it's an emotional response, okay, to a distressing experience. So like loss of a loved one, okay, grief. Nag-grieve ka because na-traumatized ka because nawala imong family member, especially during the COVID era, COVID times. OMG, traumatic yun na event in life, no? For like 3 years. So many people are still coping up and dealing with these emotional issues and distressing experience. That's why we have to talk about this. And unlike ordinary hardships, no, traumatic events tend to be sudden and unpredictable. So yun din yung description sa trauma according to Psychology Today. The trauma mostly are unpredictable. Hindi mo ini-expect. Okay? So it involves a serious threat to life like bodily injury, kaya nga yung mga nadunggaban, tawag doon na trauma. Trauma yung sitwasyon nila, yung case nila, and or death, even death, okay? So it involves, it makes a person's body feel beyond control. So hindi mo makontrol. Like for example, ikaw ba naman ang ma-injure? Like on a car accident, traumatizing yan, traumatic event yan. And unfortunately, I've been through that. Okay? Mother B is not exempted, OMG. So, especially when it comes to vehicular accidents, traumatizing. That's why I still have to go to my physical therapist because of this. And unfortunately, we filed a case against the party because until now, I'm undergoing treatment. It's not funny, but you know. But yes, that's why I can relate to this, and I hope that you will not relate to this. But yes, this is the reality, okay? So most important, events are traumatic to the degree that they undermine a person's sense of safety. As long as na-threaten ka, na-undermine ang sense of safety nimo, that's a traumatic event. Okay? And create a sense that catastrophe could strike at any time. So parental loss in childhood, auto accidents, in which I am part of that, physical violence, sexual assault, military combat experience, the unexpected loss of a loved one are commonly traumatic events. So we have to understand that these issues in life are going on. Okay, so there are types of trauma. Okay, so acute trauma, chronic trauma, complex trauma, and secondary or vicarious trauma arises from exposure to other people's suffering and can strike those in professions that are called on to respond to injury and mayhem, notably physicians, first responders, and law enforcement. So may tinatawag din palang secondary or vicarious trauma. You're not directly exposed to that unfortunate situation, but since you're responding to help the person who's traumatized, and then you're exposed to them, to their suffering, so eventually you will be part of that situation. In a way, that's why yung mga responders, such individuals are at risk for compassion fatigue. There's what you call compassion fatigue, okay? Whereby they avoid investing emotionally in other people in an attempt to protect themselves from expressing distress. That's why you notice yung mga people in the medical profession, parang, sabi sila, ay, murag wala lang. No, it's part of protecting themselves. That's why medyo stoic sila. Pero hindi kayo sila affected ba? But it's actually a way to combat compassion fatigue. It's not that they don't feel for you. Hindi sila maluoy nimo. But there's what you call avoiding compassion fatigue because of the secondary trauma. Okay? Now, adverse childhood experience, this is what we are going to focus on. Okay? It covers a wide range of difficult situations. In short, ACE, adverse childhood experience. So it covers a wide range of difficult situations that children either directly face or witness while growing up before they have developed effective coping skills. So in this kind of trauma, no, there's a lot of things going on, difficult situations that a child has experienced directly or witnessed the event, no, unfortunate events, distressing event, difficult events in their life, in the child's life, and while growing up. Okay, so before they have developed their own coping skills, effective coping skills, because their brains are not even complete, and they still need adult support like their parents, but unfortunately they're into the wrong environment. That is why it's called adverse childhood experiences. So ACE can disrupt the normal course of development, nakaka-disrupt sa development ng bata, no? The growth and development, and the emotional injury can last long into adulthood. That is why our talk today is how childhood trauma affects us as adults, because this is a type of trauma called ACE, adverse childhood experience. It's not the normal childhood that a child experiences, because number one, it's a difficult situation, or he grew up in a difficult situation or a hard life. Sometimes the trauma is personal because the child might be in a chronic trauma as well, no? Hindi lang ACE, hindi lang adverse childhood experience, but it's also called chronic trauma because the child grew up with all this abuse. So doble yung trauma na naranasan ng bata. Exposed na siya pa ang biktima, right? So it adversely affects the development and emotional growth of the child. So in short, the emotional injury can last into adulthood. So yung mga issues natin on behavior today sa mga adults, no? I'm not saying in particular sino or what, but can be traced back to problems with trauma. The loss of a parent, okay, losing a parent, like I'll be honest, when my loved ones passed away, especially my mother-in-law last 2021, it was so difficult for us as a family to cope because she died of COVID, and it was hard for us to process because the way it happened, the traumatizing experience really hurt our family emotionally, psychologically, and because we were not there. Number one, we were not able to be with our mom, and that's very hurting for us. And coping up with the loss because you're far away and then you cannot do anything. There's a lot of things going on, right? There's a lot of things going on, a lot of emotional pain, and of course you have to find ways to cope up with those pain. So, or worst, no? In some other, that's for our case, no? When my mom passed away, and not only my mom-in-law, but the in-laws, the relatives, and all. You know, it's kind of shocking. That year 2021 is really one of the worst years, no? When it comes to death in the families, because talagang sunod-sunod. Okay, so talking about loss, not only loss. But if we go back to the adverse childhood experience, ACE, that's the type of trauma that we're talking about, okay? Sometimes it's because of sexual abuse or divorce of a parent, no? They split. So it's part of the trauma that the child experienced when their parents separated, and it's hurting on them emotionally and mentally. And these are among the most common types of ACEs, especially here in the USA. So again, that effects of trauma, it's disturbing. Unang-una, the trauma is disturbing. It's a disturbing event that activates the amygdala, that's part of the brain, a structure in the brain responsible for detecting threats. So you have a brain, of course. Everybody has a brain. So if you go through trauma, it the disturbing events, no? The effect on your brain, the part of your brain called amygdala, A-M-Y-G-D-A-L-A. Okay? It's a structure in the brain responsible for detecting threats. So it responds by sending out an alarm, okay, to multiple body systems to prepare for defense. So maandar yung defense mechanism natin through the amygdala, a part of the brain, sends out an alarm to prepare for defense. Okay? So the sympathetic nervous system jumps into action, no, the part of your nervous system, to stimulate the release of adrenaline and noradrenaline and stress hormones. That prepares the body for a flight, fight, or freeze response. So hindi lang to fight, but flight or freeze. Bago to. It's new to me. Fight, flight, or freeze response. Kana bang maano ka ba? Ma-paralyze ka ba? Wala kayo mabuhat, no? Short-term fear, anxiety, shock, and anger, aggressions are all normal responses to trauma. So normal po yan if somebody happens to be in a very disturbing event. Of course, whether adult or as a child, talagang malaki ang effect ng trauma sa katawan ng tao. And eventually, the normal responses is fear, anxiety, shock, anger, or aggression are all normal responses. So I've seen a lot of people, in fact, I'm part of that as well. Yung, like, ako shock. Normally, if I experience this kind of disturbing events, meron ako time na shock talaga ako. Magdugay ka ba? Na-freeze ka diyot. Okay? So such negative feelings dissipate as the crisis abates and the experience fades from memory. So this biological response, no, physical response to the trauma, eventually, if you don't remember it anymore, because the brain tends to remember, unfortunately. So if the memory fades, but if not, for some people, the distressing feelings can linger. No, linger to matagal. That's why it's called chronic. Interfering with day-to-day life. So even if the event passed, no? Event already have passed. Shortcut. Natapos na yung event, but for you, it's still very alive. Okay? So for example, the latest news in the Philippines when there was a landslide, I guess in Metro Manila. Was this in Metro Manila? Antipolo, somewhere. So one lady was interviewed, okay, in the news, and then she said whenever she hears the sound of rain, it reminds her of what happened to her. And she feels the response, her body response is the same. She feels afraid, she felt the fear, and all these responses actually is normal when it comes to this kind of situation, traumatic situation. So normal yung nararamdaman niya, na kahit tapos na yung nangyari, but she still thinks that it's still happening because the body reacts to it. Okay? Sufferers of long-term trauma. So this is about long-term trauma, like the adverse childhood experience. That if it's happening day to day, if it's chronic, if you grew up in an environment of a dysfunctional family, or you're being abused by your own parent or parents, it's chronic. Sufferers of long-term trauma may develop emotional disturbance. So, yun na nga yung iba, nagkakaroon ng attitude, nagkakaroon ng kakaibang behavior. So, you have to understand that hindi lahat ng tao masama ugali. Baka mamaya may pinaghuhugutan yun. You just don't happen to understand or kulang ka sa time para mag-research. Nag-react ka kagad, ginudge mo kagad yung tao. Kaya, yun ang take ni Mother B, bawal ang judgmental. Kasi lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan, ma'am. Kaya we need to harness the superpower of empathy. Meaning, we have to feel. You have to have the superpower to feel what other people feel. Right? How Jesus see you. Even if inis ka na sa tao, gusto mo lang sakalin. Kaya marami ng pain na dinulot siya sa buhay mo, but then, you're reminded that this person might have undergone adverse experiences in life, especially during his or her childhood. You know, instead na fight response ka, mo freeze. Maluoy ka na lang, compassion na lang ang mag-prevail. Pero ayaw po pa-biktima, basi ma-compassion fatigue po ka. There are some people who like to invest on their trauma, unfortunately. Yung bang, alam nila may mga pinagdadaanan sila, then gusto nila idamay pa ibang tao. Misery loves company. I don't know, maybe that's because a result of their trauma that they wanted the people to bring into their misery. So just be careful as well. That's why do not be entrapped by anong tawag yan? Compassion fatigue. So we have new word for today. In order to prevent secondary trauma, kagaya ng mga doctors, responders, mga psychiatrists, and all these mental health professionals, yes, you are hearing about their story, their traumatic lifestyle, traumatized events in life, but it doesn't mean that you want to be part of the trauma as well. How will you help the person if you are both victimized of this trauma? Siya naka-experience sa event, you heard about the story, and then you felt compassion, and then you eventually na burn out. Kasi nga, paulit-ulit yung exposure mo, and not only one, but more. Because unfortunately, that's your profession. Like for example, if you're a fireman, thank you for your service. If you're a policeman, if you're in the military, you are always and constantly exposed to crimes and, accidents or whatever. How will you process that if you do not know how to avoid secondary trauma? Right? So, mahirap yun because there's such a thing as post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? Yung bigla-bigla ka na nagagalit, naalala mo, bigla kang inaway o naging biktima ka ng war, you were exposed to war for a long time, namura ka na conscious na kada defensive na layo ka. Mo na sa Bisaya pa, muulbo na rin mong kaspa. Because you grew up with an environment when you were a child na palagi may nagsusuntukan, nag-aaway sa paligid mo, nagsisigawan. Kaya tuloy yung iyong behavior, na kayo, kanang skandaluso na kayo. The environment is really a big factor in our growth and development as a child. Remember that. Not just as a child, but as adults as well. How you will react to your situation in life. So PTSD is real. Okay? So sufferers like the inability to feel pleasure, okay, sufferers of long-term trauma may develop emotional disturbances. That is the sad part. It will cause mental health issues and emotional disturbances, okay, if you're constantly exposed to trauma. And such as extreme anxiety, sobra na, anger, sadness, survivor's guilt. There's also a word, survivor's guilt, na you feel guilty because you survive. Sila nawala, ako na apa. Survivor's guilt ang tawag ana. So, that's another emotional disturbance. Disassociation, like you don't want to mingle with other people, just wanted to be alone because you don't want to deal with other people because you were stressed or you experience disturbing situations that you tend to be away from them. Okay. And what else? The inability to feel pleasure. It's called anhedonia. Kasi hedonic, pleasure, hedonia is pleasure. Anhedonia, wala ka ng feeling na pleasure. Have you noticed there are people now, parang hindi sila affected sa pleasure? Like, yun na nga, misery loves company. They like to be in misery rather than in a pleasurable experience. Because of too much exposure to trauma. Okay? So it's not that they like it, for sure. Sino bang gustong maging sad every day? Nobody. So, that is one of the, those are the effects, of course, of long-term trauma. Those people who suffer, sometimes they have now the inability to feel pleasure. It's always pain lang ilang naisip. Or PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So the amygdala become hyperactive. Yung ating amygdala who keeps on remembering what happened, the trauma, hyperactive, in short, nagiging defensive na siya masyado. So kaya nga, instead na mag-isip ka ng pleasure, puro na lang pain. Alert ka na kayo ba? Yung mga tao mga defensive kayo, ako ba pinag-uusapan niyo? Na-trauma ka, palagi ikaw na pinagchichismisan, na nagkaroon ka ng mga kaaway dahil sa mga chismis. Eventually, makikita ka lang may nagkukwentuhan dyan sa tabi, akala mo ikaw nang pinag-uusapan. Traumatic din yun. O ikaw din yung cause ng pain nila. O, di ba? So, every time makikita ka, lumuli kayo na sa imo. Ikaw yung marites ng community, you're the source of their trauma, you're the cause of their pain. Every time they see you, natitrigger sila na, oh my gosh, ito na naman. Ako, pinapagaan ko lang yung topic, ha? Pinapagaan ko lang. Because I also experienced traumatizing and disturbing events when I was younger. Or even when I'm older. Being in a car accident is a traumatic event. And even that's what I told the firm, like ako, every time you reminded me, every time you asked me, and we talk about this case, it's traumatizing and I can still feel the pain. Yeah, so it can happen any age, at any age. And remember, trauma is unpredictable. You cannot predict that. Hindi yan weather. You cannot have a trauma forecaster. No, it happens. Okay, buti pa ang weather may forecaster pero ang trauma wala. Okay? So, what happens to your body? What happens to your brain? So, you have a part in the brain, the structure called amygdala. The amygdala is the storage of your memories and feelings. So, whenever the amygdala is triggered, exposed to almost the same situation, lumalabas yung kanyang mga sympathetic nerve. This sympathetic nerve will activate the hormones, the fight, flight, or freeze hormones na i-flood na dahil ni mong body, and that you will react. And then, what are the experiences that you might undergo with this? So, when the amygdala becomes hyperactive, yan yung babantayan mo. Pag nag-hyperactive yung amygdala, yan na, umpisa na. Okay? So it's overreaction. There's an overreaction of your brain function, part of the brain, to minor perturbations or leading to an outpouring of stress hormone. So yun ang triggers ang tawag na. There's some situation that's similar to what happened to you, and eventually your brain remembers that, amygdala remembers that, and it releases, it activates the sympathetic nerve to release this hormone. The hormone will flood your body, cortisol, stress hormones. Then it will create some unlikely and painful body response. Living in a defense mode. Yan, living in a defense mode. And ever vigilant. Palagi ka na lang hyper vigilant to the possibility of threat. No? Nag-overreact. People may experience ongoing problems with sleep. So, they cannot sleep because they always think of what happened. No? Either pain, emotional pain, or physical pain, or like a situation that it's disturbing to them. So, some people react by not having good sleep, okay, at night. Or physical pain. Like my response to trauma, for example, after the vehicular accident, is back pain. So that's why I go to my physical therapist, and I bought a lot of massagers. Massagers here and all this, there's a type of, this technology right now that ilalagay mo rito is like a mini massager. So it relaxes your muscle, because even if the experience was done already. The experience happened already. But every time I go drive that road, it's like super hyper alert na sa body. Especially driving. So, oh my gosh. So, it's very triggering and it's very stressful for me if I am exposed to the same trigger. So that's why my bodily is hyperacting. Trauma. No? Hyperactivity of the amygdala. That causes the bodily response, because remember, trauma is an emotional or psychological pain, aside from physical pain. But that's what happens to you when you are traumatized. Okay, so remember, living in a defense mode is not good. so ever vigilant. It's not peaceful. It's hard. Hi, visitor 9881. Thank you for joining the Melody Show. Our talk today is how childhood trauma affects us as a child. So, childhood trauma or adverse childhood experience, when you grow up with pain, you grow up with a lot of adversities in life, you grew up with exposure to like marital issues or a dysfunctional family. So that is called the adverse childhood experience. Hi, MZ Aris. Thank you for coming to the Motherly Show. Ms. Aris, thank you so much. So my talk today is about how childhood trauma affects us as adults. Because although it happened before when we were a child, but since it affects our developmental stage, our growth stage. So this adverse childhood experiences, this is called trauma. When we were a child, every time your brain remembers what happens, even if you're an adult, it gives you a response, bodily response, mental response, and usually the amygdala, the part of the brain, is hyperactive, so it might cause you, emotional or physical pain. You become defensive. No? So there's a lot of manifestations, a lot of different types of behavior that can be traced back because of adverse childhood experience. Even again, the divorce of parents or the breaking up of a family, it's traumatic for the child. So eventually, it affects the normal growth of the person. Okay, so this, however, with this kind of living in a defense mode, okay, they encounter turbulence in their personal and professional relationships. So if you happen to encounter, or you yourself might experience that you're having difficulty with relating to people, it might be that there's some issues that you need to address, especially during your childhood. So kasi nagiging hyperactive, you're overreacting to some situations not because you wanted to, but it's a defense. It's a way to protect yourself whenever you feel threatened. Okay, there are people, for example, when I was working, there's somebody now it's like always on a fight mode. Like
flat major.
No, like this person feels that she's always being talked about. This person is always involved in issues in life, whether at work or at home. Like, why? What happened to the person during her childhood days? Why is she so overactive about little things that she thought that she's been talking about? Like she felt that she's always the center of the news. But if you investigate, they're not talking about her. She always gets in trouble with that kind of behavior because she thought that she's being talked about. They're hurting her. They're stabbing her ego. Wow. Mostly emotional pain. And her response is she felt that she was betrayed. She felt that they're talking about her. So she reacts adversely as well. So that really brings trouble to the group. So then I found out that she happened to experience marital issues. And I'm not saying that because of that, but most likely, baka nakakontribute din. It might have contributed to the way she's behaving. The way she behaved during in the workplace and then she's still in the coping up stage because of that marital issue. And of course they were divorced, and then I found out that it's not her first time to be divorced. Like, it's chronic. There's always a divorce issue somewhere. Okay, so that's interesting. But again, what's the point of doing this? What's the point of talking about trauma, about how your adverse childhood experience, if you happen to have one, because not all people experience trauma in life, but most. And now researchers are beginning to understand that the illnesses, right? Illnesses that's happening today, and the toxic culture, the toxicity of our culture. Trauma has a big contribution, and dealing with post-traumatic stress or stress disorders due to trauma is something that we need to focus on. Okay, not just for experts, but we need to be educated. Dapat, hello everyone. Hi Dora. We need to understand as madlang people. We don't just listen to what people are talking about, but when Mother B is talking about something, by the way, I'm basing it on a reliable source. We are also learning together here. I'm not pretending to be an expert. I'm trying to understand what I'm reading too. Now I know that it's not just fight or flight, but fight, flight, or freeze. Not just fight or flight, fight, flight, or freeze. Meaning, wala kang nagawa. You're shocked. You cannot respond to the abuse, or you cannot respond to the trauma, because there are people who still live in a very abusive relationship, not because they like it, but because they cannot do anything about it. That's a response mechanism. Okay? That's a response to the threat. So now I'm beginning to understand that you cannot, really don't judge people good. Just have to be empathic enough. But again, be careful of the compassion fatigue. Because there are people who are aware of their situation, and they are investing on it. They like it. I don't know why. Maybe it's another response. They feel pleasure out of the pain. There are people who like pain. They feel pleasure whenever they feel pain. So that's something to be studied, something to be checked on them, because how come they act adversely? So with this kind of situation, if you're exposed to constant trauma, and if you are a medical service provider, remember COVID, during the times of COVID, there's a lot of doctors who decided to end their life. Because why? Because of fatigue. No? They're also in that situation, and then here you are helping others. Then you feel you're stressed out, burned out. There's a lot of people who hurt themselves because of this. Now I'm beginning to understand the cause. Okay? It pays to study really what's going on in our society, especially in what Dr. Mati have mentioned about the toxicity of our culture, the myth of normal. People think it's normal, but it's not. People think it's not normal, but it's the norm. So, one thing for sure is it affects you physically. Trauma affects you physically, emotionally. And even your personal or professional relationship is affected by trauma. So, and the worst thing about this is the self-worth. Okay, especially if you are exposed to abuse, if you're a wife, a child, or somebody in the workplace who's exposed to abuse, it diminishes your sense of worth. I've witnessed, I've experienced, now being exposed to these stories of people who were so abused that unfortunately, they in a chronic traumatic situation in their life, that they cannot even have the courage to get out of it. It's sad. Despite of the help, the support that you would like to extend, But at the end of the day, it's them who will decide for themselves. Unfortunately, yun nga, ang nadidiminish is your sense of worth, your self of respect, the way you see yourself, the way you value yourself matters. That's why here in the Mother Bee Show, we are advocating be real, be you, authenticity, knowing who you are, your self-worth. You are more than enough, okay? The message here in the Mother Bee Show, whatever you're going through, whatever difficulties in life you're going through, kung ano man ang mga pinagdadaanan nyo, kung ano man yung mga hirap natin sa buhay, sa punsa atong kalisod, nagiagian, we are more than enough. You don't need to prove anything to other people except to yourself. Yes, we have a lot of mess ups in life. Marami tayong mga bloopers, marami tayong mga mess up, but you know, at the end of the day, don't beat yourself up. Okay? It's not smart, it's not wise, and it's not the solution. Your best friend is yourself. Tama talaga. Whitney Houston is correct. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. If God loves you unconditionally, the author of heaven and earth, ikaw pa kaya? Right? For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life, from John 3:16. If you are valuable into His eyes, your name is written in the palm of His hands. You are valuable. How much more you? Kaya nga, the sense of identity is very important, especially for people who are exposed or exposed to chronic or, complicated or secondary or adverse childhood experiences in life. At the end of the day, it's all about knowing who you are, being authentic, being real, forgiving yourself. You are in a situation wherein it's not the end of the world. That is why people who are in a chronic traumatic situation, they feel stuck, na-freeze na. Instead of fight, flight, or freeze ang nangyari, na-frozen. Because they thought that there is no other way, that there's no hope. But the message of hope is this. If God loves you so much, why not love yourself too? It's not being selfish. God loves you, so you have to love yourself too. Right? And there are people who love people so much that they forgot to love themselves. That's why called compassion, false compassion. You thought that you're caring for others and then you're not taking care of yourself? Okay. Shout out to our OFWs and our Filipinos living abroad and supporting the families in the Philippines. Don't feel bad if you cannot deliver right away, if you cannot meet their expectation, because they don't know what you're going through. Huwag ka masyadong mapagod, no? It's called compassion fatigue. If you cannot live with their expectation, if you cannot fulfill their financial needs, matakot ka na masira ka sa kanila, hindi ka na nila mahalin because wala ka ng gatong. No. Also to performers, like you're trying to please everybody, unfortunately you cannot. Don't overdo it, right? Live streaming, you're trying to sell your soul just to be popular. If they don't want to watch you, don't be sad about it. If you know what you're doing is right and you're trying to help, but they're not appreciating what you do, as long as you believe in what you do, be real, be you, maximize pleasure, minimize pain, and do the most good. So that's the message for today. Whatever is good, whatever is lovely, think about all those things. Let's go back to boosting our mental health. So, how childhood, this is just the first part. I would like to talk about it more. But again, we have to dissect first trauma, different types of trauma. We have the single, complicated, complex, chronic, adverse childhood experience, no? When you're exposed to a very traumatic condition like separation of family, loss of a family, loss of something. Loss and separation is painful. And then abuse is so painful, physically, emotionally, psychologically. And it affects your way of thinking. It affects your way of life. It affects your body function. And mostly people who are into this situation, there's a lot of physical effects, manifestations that eventually it causes another trouble. So let's just be wise enough to understand and know that trauma is painful. Trauma is hurt. Trauma is a wound. If you want to linger on with that kind of pain, it's up to you. But there is a way by understanding who you are, but trying to, it's not easy, but if you decide to, I'm tired of this pain. Niabot sa life ko na, I'm tired of being in pain. I have to put a stop to it. Are you not tired of being in pain? Ikaw nga, matanong kita, do you like a difficult situation? Number one, it's uncomfortable. Number two, it's painful. So it's all up to you. Walang ibang nakakatulong sa'yo. Let's start with you. You have to be real. You have to be realistic. You have to assess the situation. What's going on? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? It might be trauma is a cause. So then you have to be kind to yourself. Understand that, hey, I'm in pain, I'm hurt, I need to work on this. I don't want to blame people. I don't want to pinpoint fingers or, do more harm than good. If you're in the workplace, if I have issues with my family, it's good to talk to somebody that you trust, but, don't rub it off too much because that person who takes care of you, who cares for you, might have compassion fatigue as well. Dawa na mong traumatized. Okay, at the end of the day, learning to love ourselves is the greatest love of all. If God loves you so much, why can't you? You are more than enough, okay? Let's end from there, but it's just the beginning of a good talk. So I'd like to focus on trauma. Like to focus on being authentic to yourself, being real, being you, because this helps in the healing process. I don't want to emphasize what type of case, but been there, done that. And I'm still going through that. As I've mentioned, I'm still going through physical therapy too. Even as adult. So, yeah, I'm not saying welcome to the club. But let's deal about this. Let's talk about it once and for all. Huwag nang itago-tago. Huwag nang ikauwaw. Hello. Magpakatotoo ka, ma'am. Kung may pinagdadaanan ka, mag-usap tayo. One thing I can assure you that when I'm a good sounding board. Kaya lang, ang sounding board, usahay mo echo. You know what I mean? Mother B is be real, be you. So if you talk about authenticity, you're in the right spot. When you talk about identity, self-identity, on authenticity, welcome to the club. Here at the Mother B show. That's why I'm thankful that you're still here despite of the time. It's 1 hour and 50 minutes that we are broadcasting now. So we're about to end the Mother B show today. Gawin si Mother B. Napadaan ako dito sa show kasi namimiss ko na kayo. Happy birthday sa mga may birthday. Shout out sa lahat ng followers ng Mother B Show. Please, tulungan mo naman na maging 1,000 plus na rin ang followers ni Mother B. Sa mga subscription sa YouTube. You know, I can assure you that these are all good stuff depending on your taste. But then again, thank you so much. If you like the show, please follow the host. Okay? If you want to comment, if you want to write me a letter, message me. And Mother B, what is that about your talk? Can I talk to you? Sure, but kailangan hindi tayo ma-fatigue, okay? Remember, words for the day, compassion fatigue, adverse childhood experience, that's so called childhood trauma. What else? Chronic trauma. Lahat na lang mga trauma sa mundo. To all our viewers in Facebook, in YouTube, in Bigo Live, in TikTok, thank you so much for watching the Mother B Show. Again, what is the Mother B Show all about? Mother B, Mother Ben!
Mother B Show is a fun and informative lifestyle program that promotes positivity and good vibes.
So far based on what I know, this is the longest DIY self-supporting show live streaming in Facebook with this kind of number of hours. Long playing na self-supporting pa. So remember, we have our different episodes. So please, this is our plugging for today. But before we leave, let's remember the word from the Bible. This is the heart and soul of the Mother B Show. Philippians 4 verse 8, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, whatever is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Okay? Yes. So, why do you have to think of bad things? And the Bible is telling us to think about good things. And of course, from Romans 12 verse 2, that's why we need to learn, we need to read, we need to understand, we need to do critical thinking. We have to reflect on what's going on around the world. Don't just go with the flow. Use your brain, activate your minds. According to Romans 12 verse 2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Then you will be able to test, no? Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Yes. All right. So before anything else, let's watch this to remind us of the episodes of the Mother B Show whenever I go live.
To tune into the Mother B Show episodes like Brain Health Monday, Believe Tuesday, Build Wealth and Wellness Wednesday, Boost Your Mental Health Thursday, Feel Good Friday, and our weekend specials on Saturdays or Sundays. This episode of the Mother B Show was brought to you by Creative Niche Media and Designs LLC. Thank you for watching or tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to our YouTube channel to gain access to our recorded broadcasts.
Thank you. That's my AI. AI co-host. Okay, thank you for somebody who's viewing us in Facebook. Marami pong salamat. Okay, thank you for the heart. Thank you for everyone who's gonna be watching the Mother B Show. Live streaming, the viewers in our live stream edition and to our replays. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe in our YouTube channel and in Facebook, like and share the good vibes. Bigo and until here, this is your Mother Blogger. Let's continue to share positivity and good vibes. And again, yes, glory to God in the highest, and thank you for coming to the Mother B Show. I appreciate you coming here. Babu, God bless. Happy pa. May teka, may Hi, Boof! Hi, Boof! Thank you, Mother P. Thank you, Boof. Thank you, Boof. You can watch the curated version of the Mother B show. This is an interesting talk. How childhood trauma affects us as adults, and this is just part 1, the beginning of our talk. So I hope. Thank you for coming by, and I appreciate you. And thank you to all our viewers again. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye. Yes, I have to put my thank you slide. I forgot. Remember, this is a do-it-yourself portion. Okay, thank you, everyone. God bless.